So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Apostate Prophet. Now in this video, I'm going to speak about just how ridiculous he is and how his fans, who are completely devoid of even an ounce of intellect, blindly believe anything that he says. Literally anything. They don't go bother fact checking things. They just say, oh, Ridwan said this, I'm going to believe it. Because in their eyes, Ridwan is an authority. And for somebody to actually arrive at that conclusion, you have to be, in the politest of terms, thick. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
I have read the Quran more than 3 times. I studied the Hadith thoroughly. I studied Islam thoroughly. I studied basically everything about Islam. I can carefully say that I know more than 85% of all Muslims about Islam.
So from that video you just saw, we have to logically conclude that Ridwan clearly thinks he's an expert when it comes to Islam. Thus, for somebody to be an expert on Islam, you have to assume a number of things. They're qualified in various fields of Islamic sciences such as Quran, Hadith, Tafsir, Fiqh. You also have to assume that Ridwan is competent in the Arabic language. I mean, he says he knows more than 85% of all Muslims. And by the way, he could carefully say it, which means he's thought long and hard about that statement before actually uttering it. There are about 2 billion Muslims in the world. 85% of 2 billion is around 1.7 billion people. So Ridwan is claiming to know more about Islam than 1.7 billion people. But he has no qualifications to show for this. No intellect to show for this. I mean, all it takes is you to watch through his videos and you can see how... I mean, how do I explain it? Genuinely, how do I explain it? You look through the videos to see how elementary they are. How it's grade school arguments against the religion of Islam. Nothing that makes you sit there and be like, oh, I haven't heard that before. It's the same old regurgitated nonsense that he is just reciprocating and putting out there. Oh, and by the way, Ridwan's spoken about his proficiency in the Arabic language. Have a listen.
I can't fucking talk Arabic fluently. Here, you got it. I say it, okay?
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
So in his community post, which he has since come out and doubled down saying, how can I take it seriously? Which is ridiculous because he's being serious. He genuinely believes he's defeated every single person he's had a discussion with / challenge to a discussion. And if you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic with that. Look at this tweet he said. This was when he was on Twitter. He got banned and he's very upset about that. He was crying about that when he got banned. And he says he's defeated everybody because he rejected a debate challenge. So which one is it, Ridwan? Now you're claiming it's a debate. Then you're saying it's a discussion. Here he says it's a Q&A. Who puts the word verse in the Q&A? The connotations of the term verse have to do with challenges, debates, matches, like a football match. Yeah? But you're putting it in a Q&A. A Q&A. What's the connotation of a Q&A? A respectful Q&A. Oh, how about this? What about this? What about that? How are you? This is Ridwan. Ah, Ridwan. How are you today? I won. But I just asked you how you were. This is how his brain works. He doesn't realise how the guy refutes himself, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And instead of actually addressing these things and being logical, being rational, being mature, he just says to everybody, debate me, debate me, debate me, debate me. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, why does Ridwan want to debate anybody when he himself admits he's an amateur debater? This is taken from Jake the Muslim Metaphysician's 2-hour stream. He did it on the Apostate Prophet, where he literally just demonstrated how ridiculous AP is and how intellectually deprived AP is. AP admits that he's an amateur debater. So if you're an amateur debater, why debate people? Why not actually study debating? Read books on it. Learn how to debate. That is what a normal person with a functioning brain would do. The reason why Ridwan doesn't want to do it though is because it's amazing, isn't it? It's how clear it is. He's trying to get clout. He's trying to stay relevant. And how else do you stay relevant? By coming at every single Muslim apologist, the big ones. By coming at them. And instead of addressing arguments, you say, debate me. I mean, how old are you, Ridwan? You're like in your 40s, your 30s. Get a grip of yourself. You have a child. Look how you're acting. You've got a kid and look how you're acting. It's amazing, isn't it? There are people half your age who are way more mature than you. Look how you're acting. Get a grip of yourself.
You cannot simply reject a challenge. I really don't want to sit down responding to those 50 videos.
Now, Ridwan did say that he'd respond to the general argument. The general argument of 50 videos, each video focusing on one of your videos. For example, one topic focuses on the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ fighting, all these things. The other video talks about so-called scientific errors in the Quran. How can you respond to the general argument when each video is different? It makes no sense. And this is what I mean. If any AP fan is watching this, he's just appeasing you. He's making you think, yeah, I'm going to respond. Don't worry, guys. I'll respond to the general argument. And not one of you sit there and think, well, Ridwan, why are you responding to the general argument when each video is different? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all.
I am a lying, filthy devil, ignorant, and without foundations.
Now, AP may sit there and say, well, you just misrepresented me. Why do you have a problem with that when you misrepresent others? If you want to be represented properly, at least represent your opponents properly. You sit there and claim to be an expert on Islam by knowing more than 85% of all Muslims about Islam, in your own words. You don't have the decency to represent the people you make videos on properly. Who does that? What sort of expert does that? It makes no logical sense. To any AP fan watching, just think on that. If Farid is ignorant, he doesn't know anything, then why can't AP simply just represent him properly? If there's somebody that I know is ignorant, I mean, for example, you can look at the responses I've done on my website to people. One of the biggest refutations I've done, written up. I literally link the person's article that I responded to, and I say to people, go and read that first, and then read mine, or read mine and read theirs. Either way, look at what they say, and you can see my response and see how I address their arguments. And the reason why I do that is because I'm confident I've refuted them. In fact, I know I've refuted them. I know I have, and I want people themselves to see it. Because once you see the person's original argument, the person I'm refuting, and see how I have addressed it, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. And look, Farid is somebody who does that. I've seen some of his videos in the past where he's made videos on Christian Prince, for example, and he tells people, get a paper and pen, write down these things. Now go and watch Christian Prince's video himself and see how he says these things. He wants you to see it for yourself. You know, when a person like Farid, since we're on a topic of Farid, he's a guy who doesn't care about money or clout or anything like that. Unlike you, Ridwan, who clearly is trying to challenge every single person to stay relevant. In regards to money, well, you make a lot, don't you? You got your Patreon, you got your super chat, you got money from YouTube, from videos which are monetized, and also there was that time last year where you scammed people out of $12,000. Do you remember that? I do, because last year when you were on Twitter, I replied to one of your tweets saying how come you scam people out of $12,000, or I said something along the lines of address the 12,000, whilst also linking something from a website which refutes arguments you have made. And instead of responding to me, a simple guy who knows nothing, I'm just some guy. You claim that you know more than 85% of all Muslims. I'm part of that figure, I assume. Why not respond to me? Instead you block me, which means you saw what I said, and instead of responding, you're like, block. And by the way, if you want proof of that, I made another video on Ridwan, an hour-long video, which goes over many things about him, his hypocrisy, his ridiculousness, how he hates Muslims, and he wants you to hate Muslims, all of that, and that's linked in the video description, if you want to watch that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Just wanted to do a very, very, very quick video in response to something I just saw. So I'll probably edit out this intro to make this even shorter, but I'm going to wait for some people to come into the chat real quick. Let me know when you're here. You guys ready? This is going to be fun. Just watch this real quick. Apostate Prophet is that the vast majority of his followers are morons.
Never make such a claim if you're running an Islamic channel.
Okay. Let me respond to that. never insinuate that someone who runs an Islamic channel is a moron when you lack education, you don't have a real job, and your only success in life is getting a visa in my country so that you can open up a YouTube channel and ask for handouts like a freeloader. A YouTube channel which ironically runs off the backs of the Islamic channels that you diss constantly. So, yeah, that's about it. This video was dedicated to all you hardworking Muslim doctors, engineers, scientists, and teachers whom these morons work for. Take care, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So the excuse he gave as to why he won't list the debate against Daniel Hikikachu, sorry, the Q&A, the interview, discussion, just don't know what it is because he can't make his mind up himself. When he had his discourse with Daniel Hikikachu, the reason why he won't make it public is because people were mean to me, is what he says. People are mean to him. Now here's the thing. First of all, you mock his name by calling him Daniel Pikachu. You're mean to other people. It's online, and you sit there and think everybody's going to give you sunflowers and roses and say, Ridwan, well done Ridwan, I love you Ridwan, everybody's going to be so nice to you. And also as well, you mock Hajj pilgrims dying. How are you going to sit there and expect civility when you make fun of people dying? I mean, innocent people dying, and you make fun of that. And then you have the audacity to ask for people to be nice to you. He hasn't come out and apologised for that yet. It's been a couple of years and he still hasn't sat there and say, yeah, I was wrong to say that. Here's the clip, by the way.
And throw stones that can miss the pillars. Multiple incidents occurred in the past where the pilgrims killed each other in masses during this practice by accidentally trampling each other or hitting others with stones. In some incidents, thousands of people died.
Whoa. What did he just say? Let's play that again.
That's what I call a sacrifice.
What does Ridwan actually say here? Oh, he's just making fun of people dying in a video where he complains about Muslims being too mean to animals.
Now this will probably be the last thing I show before I end the video. Look at this tweet. He basically says he'll kill the Prophet, peace be upon him, but he's fantasized about killing him. Now, obviously, the Prophet's already dead, but if he was alive, Ridwan would want to kill him. And why is this important? Well, Ridwan, in his videos against the Prophet, peace be upon him, he basically attacks him for killing, for fighting people. Yet he says he'd kill the Prophet. So therefore, we must conclude that Ridwan has no problem with killing under his worldview. But then he would say, no, I think I should send killers to corrective behaviour. This is where the ridiculousness comes in. He sits there and complains about people being mean to him, mocks Hajj pilgrims dying, says he wants to kill the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who 2 billion Muslims look up to, and he wants to kill him. And then he complains about people being mean to him. What's wrong with you, Ridwan? What is wrong with you? You sit there and expect civility when you can't give civility back. If you want people to be nice to you, be nice back. Or be nice to begin with, rather. And here's the thing, Ridwan. If people are annoying you, ignore them. You get pressed over teenagers. How old? Like I said, you're like 30, 40 years old, and you cry and get upset that teenagers call you a puss. You try to come across as somebody who's intellectually superior to everybody else. Like, you're amazing, but you can't get a grip of your emotions when teenagers are making you react emotionally. So in summary, before I end this video, simply saying you took down the video or unlisted the debate, discussion, whatever you want to call it, against Daniel Hikikachu because people were being mean or he was being mean is an excuse. You took it down because you got absolutely embarrassed. Daniel was quoting study after study after study, and you're complaining about the fact he's citing studies, saying, people aren't going to read that. So he's citing evidences, and all you do is hand wave. Yet you say you won. Hilarious. If you want civility, Ridwan, if you want people to be nice to you, Ridwan, then be nice to begin with. And if people are annoying you, they're being mean to you, ignore them. Ignore them. Block them. If I was being mean to you in my tweet where you blocked me, fair enough, I was mean. All I sat there and said was talk about your $12,000 and respond to this link on my website. You blocked me. If people are being mean to you, you block them, fine. No issue with that. But you don't care about people's feelings, you don't care about Muslims, you don't care what happens to them. All you care about is your content and attacking Islam, and you cry when people are mean to you. How illogical can you be? So now we're at the end of this video, let's conclude. Instead of trying to represent his opponent honestly, correctly and appropriately, Ridwan opts for the opposite, where he misrepresents his opponent and he lies. And the proof of this can be seen by simply watching his opponent's video, aka Farid, Sajid, whoever he's made videos on responding to, but he misrepresents them. Watch their videos in full and question why Ridwan represent them properly and honestly. How can a man who claims to know more about Islam than 85% of all Muslims, who tries to portray himself as an expert, something he knows everything about, not represent his opponent properly? That screams two things to me: insincerity and dishonesty. Ridwan is clearly trying to stay relevant, grow more relevance to get more money, more clout by challenging people to debates, and he wants people to accept it, make content, all these things. And his fans are none the wiser. They just blindly believe anything that he says. Because to him, or rather to them, Ridwan can do nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. And finally, Ridwan is a hypocrite. He complains about people who are mean to him, yet doesn't simply realise that he's getting pressed over some teenagers most of the time when he's in his 40s, his 30s. He also mocks the deaths of innocent people and fantasizes about killing the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but at the same time he wants people to be nice to him, when not only does he do the things I just said, he's also ripped the Quran, he's been disrespectful, but he wants respect. That's how delusional he is, and now you have seen that too. In the video description I've left some links, and if you look at the links I've put a little description as to what each link is, so be sure to check that out. Inshallah this video has benefited you, and any wrong I've said is from my ignorance, and any good is thanks to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I am a lying, filthy devil, ignorant, and without foundations.